Welcome to the world united. Welcome to the world united.
So, what do you think is the role of science and spirituality in the global awakening process?
Please repeat the question.
I'm saying, what do you think is the role of science and spirituality in the global awakening process? Can they work in harmony together, or will science and spirituality have to work on different tracks?
See, as I mentioned in the initial beginning talk, the goal of both the science and spirituality to realize the truth, and then with divine wisdom goes a step further to live the life according to that truth and realize the goal of life, goal of human life. Goal of human life is to reach perfection. This evolution is going on at various stages, from mineral to plant to animal to man to superman. So man on this earth has to become Superman. Superman on not in the sense that he can make a very high jump, he can make a long jump, or he can do something, or he can purchase whole property. Not in that sense. He has to be perfect man. Perfect man means all compassion, all loving, oneness feeling, all that. Gautam Buddha is considered the perfect flower on this earth. Perfect flower. Gautam Buddha, Jesus Christ. So Gautam Buddha is the ideal. In fact, about Gautam Buddha, it is said when he got nirvana, he refused to accept nirvana. And he said, I will not accept nirvana till the bulk of humanity reaches my stage on this earth. And it is said in Mahayana Buddhism and theosophy also that Gautam Buddha and some other adepts like him, they are retaining their subtle bodies on this earth and helping humanity till the bulk of humanity reaches that level. So that is the goal. And this is the science, as I concluded my talk, science and spirituality both can aid in this achievement of this human journey, which is the divine plan. And what is the purpose of perfection? Perfection means you have got more powers to help your other younger brothers and sisters who are still below you. That is the whole purpose. Just like Buddha is helping humanity and all those things. So purpose is help to others. God is impersonal principle. God needs agents and managers. And the human being has to become their agents and managers to manage everything in the society and the earth on other planets. So this is the whole scheme of evolution. Man has to work according to the evolution plan. And that is the purpose of both science and spirituality. Finally, as I told you, science is moving towards spirituality, as many of the scientists are realizing. For example, with the advent of quantum mechanics and theory of everything, all this moving slowly. And finally, they may come that both may become one stream. That is why it is called synthesis of science, religion, and philosophy.
Okay. Sir, you just mentioned quantum physics is taking science more towards spirituality.
Yes.
Can you give us that one principle or the one?
Yes, because earlier spirituality or divine wisdom says that consciousness in life is a real thing. Matter is a temporary thing. Consciousness and life, they densify and convert themselves to matter to create a form for their experience, for their expression. Now, today, quantum science is saying everything is rooted in consciousness, though they are not able to explain how it is rooted, which divine wisdom explains, but they have realizing, for example, you've got a chair in my room, I'm sitting on a chair. This chair, they are saying, is something rooted in consciousness. Its blueprint is in consciousness. That's why a carpenter is able to make the chair. And I am able to see the chair because it is conscious rooting. If consciousness closes, puts a curtain behind it, there will neither chair nor I am able to find out my chair. So this is just example. So this concept that everything is rooted in consciousness, which quantum science is saying, this is purely spiritual and divine wisdom principle. That consciousness is fundamental thing. Its spirit is fundamental thing, and from which matter is derived. Another thing, as he said, that that interconnectivity, interdependence, which is now being realized in climatic change, that even a small change by man at any portion of the globe changes distance points and all those things. The Global Consciousness Project, which I referred, this was carried by Roger D. Nelson, a physicist and psychologist in Princeton University. I had an opportunity to interact with him face to face. His research has come out that even our consciousness, even can change the output of the computer, random generation. A computer sitting, a person working on his computer in Hyderabad, in Lucknow, can change the computer output of some computer in America or in China. That the research has come. So this inference is that the whole consciousness is one. It cannot be separated. That is what divine wisdom has been always saying. Whole human consciousness is one. Separation is illusion. It is given only for that individual life to process its evolution. That's all. Otherwise, what I think will affect you and others. Philosophy says even when a particle of matter vibrates on this earth, whole cosmos vibrates. Because particle of matter is also life. There's nothing like dead matter. So every movement is affecting the whole universe. Movement is not only physical movement. Movement by feeling, movement by thought, bad or good, is affecting. The pandemic, according to this divine wisdom, is nothing but the result of the base and coarse thought of human being. It is not some divine curse. From the ages that the human being has become selfish, self-centered. They are creating all sorts of negative thought, and that goes with mental pain, condenses as some pandemic, as some epidemic, as some natural disaster. It says nature is neither benevolent nor malevolent. Nature reacts according to man's thought, as mental thought. So all this now science is realizing. That's why during pandemic also, there are so many groups of global meditation and giving good thought and all those things that will help. But yes, that is too little help at this stage of evolution. When man is dominated by material desire and senses, that is also a stage necessary, and that is what we are passing. Our aim of this divine wisdom and science should be to, just like one I quoted one adept, we get hold of the crest wave of intellectuality and move towards the spirituality. Crest wave of intellectualism. Nowadays, young persons are developing very rapid intellectual faculty. The need is to divert that intellectuality to spirituality. And only point is spirituality to realize oneness. That is the only basis of spirituality, nothing else. Going to church, going to temple, going to mosque is not spiritual unless you realize oneness. Yes.
That's what you said is right, sir. And you also made a distinction between spirituality and religion, which are two different things.
Yes.
Sir, it was very enlightening. Just give me a second. I'll go on to Mr. Venkata. Sir, can you speak something? Mr. Venkata?
I think his instrument is not working.
But he's using several instruments actually. Sir, you'll have to unmute yourself. You're on mute right now. Sir, you're on mute right now. You'll have to unmute yourself.
Who?
No. Mr. Venkata. You are, Mr. Venkata, you are unmuted right now, so you can speak. Mr. Venkata, just show me your thumb if you can hear me. So can you show me your thumb if you can hear me? Okay, Mr. Pandey, we'll continue with the discussion. So I have a question for you, actually.
Let me put on my camera.
Yes.
I was taking tea. Okay. Come on.
Okay. So, sir, as you said, finally, science takes us to spirituality. So, if ultimately we know these principles in spirituality, do you think that we will come to a day when we'll not require science anymore?
No, science is required because science has got its role to play. Science has to only convert to spirituality. I tell you how.
How? Yes.
Einstein is quoted often. Einstein is a great spiritual scientist.
Hmm.
Einstein was a member of advisory council of the president of USA when the research for the nuclear bomb is going on there. But he
Hmm.
was against using nuclear bomb. Research he was coordinating. And when the president of USA decided to drop that bomb at Hiroshima, he was very much against it. And but president naturally everywhere, president, prime minister was overruled scientist and everybody. So he was overruled. And when he could see the disaster of the Hiroshima bombing, he resigned from the council of the president council, and he said, "I repent that I would have contributed in this research. Now I repent." So that is the feeling of the great scientist. They realized mistake, and after that, he never joined in any further research of atomic energy and all those things. Science, I mentioned in the Secret Doctrine book written by Brodsky. Einstein was
Hmm.
reading a volume of the book, and he
Hmm.
told some of his friends, scientist friends, if you have got a puzzling problem, you turn the page of Secret Doctrine, you may get some signal for a solution. So he was deeply religious person. That religious person in the real sense, a spiritual sense, not religious. He said religious is cosmic feeling. So great scientists I had mentioned, David Bohm and so many names who are working at this quantum mechanics. They are really spiritual scientists, and gradually those science, these things are moving. And finally, everything one. For example, the masters, Buddha. Buddha is not merely a spiritual person. He's considered great scientist, great psychologist, greatest psychologist which Earth has produced. Psychology is science. Gautam Buddha is considered the greatest psychologist which this earth has produced. Because whole teaching is psychological. Whole spiritual thing is psychological. Change the psychology of human being, transmutation, and that is what called transformation, transmutation, and transformation. So science word itself is good. Only thing is, if we so far the science has been only materialistic science, that was creating problem. And science was coming in opposition to spirituality. Now science is gradually moving away from spiritual materiality and to subjective side, and that's why it's coming closer to divine wisdom.
Okay. Okay.
And
Sir, and a last question.
and both we synthesize, both are one.
Okay.
A scientific
Sir,
inquiry is needed in spirituality also. Otherwise, you'll become a blind follower. अंधभक्त हो जाता है, अंधविश्वास superficial होता है. That is why scientific inquiry needed. That's why Krishnamurti says in the At the Feet of Master, which book he wrote at the age of 14, that whatever your scriptures say, whatever your priest says, what your tradition says, you should not accept it blindly. Examine it by your logic, by your rationality, whether it benefits others or it harms others. It harms others, you must reject it. Even though it may be by your tradition, maybe in your scriptures, your priest may be saying, but you have to reject it. And that is the way of coordinating with the divine plan. We have to examine, Madam Blotsky said, you have to examine everything by universal thing. That is the test. If you find that that is not harming anybody, anybody when I say not only human being, any of the manifested thing, then that is acceptable. If not, that is not acceptable. So this is spiritually pure. Scientific inquiry in spiritual field is also needed. Otherwise, spirituality becomes blind religion.
yes, that's something to think about. I would like to ask you something in regard to what you just now said. Now, you quoted another scientist who said that we need to rationalize and understand if anything we do, if it affects anyone negatively, we should not do it. But, sir, in today's world, everything that's, in my opinion, everything that science actually produces does have an ill effect. Take, for instance, plastic, or even the internet, or even the advanced technology that we live in currently. So, how can we reach a stage wherein science can completely be positive? Because we are living in a world that's duality. There is positive and negative. So, yeah.
That's why the principle of moderation, which Buddha said, moderation has to come. If I'm utilizing my digital instrument, moderation has to come. If I am intoxicated by using this WhatsApp message and Facebook and all those things, then we are in trouble. In fact, researches are going on in this area also, how it is affecting the brain, digital work. And I had a occasion to interact with some scientists who is working in this field from South America, and he said that the two hemispheres of brain, right hemisphere and left hemisphere. The left hemisphere, which is concerned with this worldly knowledge, is growing abnormally, and right is not growing that way, which should grow proportionately, right hemispheres. And that is, they have found that is because of much use of this one, digital instruments and digital knowledge technology, what we say. Because many things which you are get involved in all touch, and we have to react and get reply. These fake messages, everybody's facing this problem. It has become a nuisance. Yesterday I was seeing paper that India is the third largest, that country which is getting the largest number of fake messages. It's getting a lot of damage.
Wow.
And mental plane, which you are not realizing. So at least the principle of the divine wisdom, if we realize this thing, we'll moderate our use. Yes, the digital instrument have to use, but not excessively. Everything excessive is bad. Again,
so as you,
yes.
Sorry. So as you said, science is good, but in moderation.
Yeah, very moderation. Just like food. If you take even a good food, good dish, excess, your stomach gets upset.
Correct.
So even the best dishes have to be taken moderately.
Okay.
So even that's why our Brodsky Founder Society says your first Viveka starts at the food, at the dining table. How much you are going to eat? If some dish is very, very nice, very tasty, and your mother is saying, your host is saying, you take something more, and how do you react? If your stomach is full, if you take it, you're trouble. You have to take some, then go to doctor and medicine. So moderation of life, moderation in every activity life is required.
I think that is a key takeaway from today's session, actually. Moderation in everything is required. So we'll take a small break here. I'll play a video for everyone, and we can continue with this session. We'll also check in with Mr. Venkata, and